Welcome to another Digital Anarchy tutorial. I'm Tor Olson, Software QA here at Digital Anarchy, and today we're going to be taking a look inside of After Effects at how to manually set your mask within Beautybox. Now, if you've been using Beautybox for a while, you might be asking, why should I have to set the mask manually? I mean, when I add Beautybox to my footage and go ahead and click Analyze Frame, the darkest and lightest flesh tone colors are automatically selected, right? And you would be correct. Analyze Frame does a great job of automatically selecting those skin tones. But there's a little more to what's going on behind the scenes of this button right here. Now, when we click Analyze Frame, what's happening is that we're using facial recognition software and some other algorithms to figure out where all those flesh tones are located. The most important part being that facial recognition. Being able to identify the face really helps us select those flesh tones. And what happens when you don't have a face is that Beautybox can a lot of the time get a little confused and select stuff in the background instead of the flesh tones that you want. Now, I can show an example of this. We have this hands composition right here, and we have this red pillow in the background. Now, if I add Beautybox, we have these dark and light colors that are relatively close to the skin tones we actually have, as you can see. But as soon as I hit Analyze Frame, you'll see that because we don't have any face to detect in that initial frame, that Beautybox is a little confused and is instead selecting the pillow. Now, that is obviously not what we want. We want to get rid of some of the skin damage that's going on in her hand. Maybe smooth out some of those wrinkles. And that's what this tutorial is all about. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and reset our Beautybox effect. Now, the first important parameter behind selecting your mask manually is mode. Mode is going to be the tool that allows you to select the skin tones you want. And right now it's off. But if I were to go ahead and select set color, I can directly sample a mid-range skin tone, say somewhere around here, near her thumb, and if you didn't notice, the dark and light color have automatically changed. Now, if I were to select anywhere else, you can see that both parameters, for the dark and the light, are changing simultaneously. But we want to expand upon the color range, so I'm going to go ahead and select Add Color in that case. From here, I can select as many skin tones as I like. And we can actually turn on Show Mask and see what we're potentially missing. Maybe a little bit more of what's going on in our upper hand, and I think that's a pretty good mask. A lot of these darker areas are a little blurry and don't necessarily need to have the mask applied to them, just because there's so little detail in there anyway to blur out potentially with Beautybox's mask. And I'd say right about here, this looks pretty good. If I can do a before and after, you'll see that we're able to really smooth out a lot of those blemishes in her skin. I can maybe bring down the skin detail smoothing or smoothing amount a little bit. But if I turn on Show Mask, what's worrying to me is that we're still getting a lot of this pillow selected as part of her mask. For that, we're going to have to lower the color range that we have selected so that we can try emitting the pillow as much as possible while still keeping the beautiful mask that we've got going on in her hand. So now that I'm done with mode, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and move on to our range parameters. These determine the color and brightness ranges we have when we're selecting our skin tones. And they also allow us to expand that range of color or minimize it. In this case, we're going to want to minimize. So I'm going to take our hue range, maybe bring it down a bit, but not too much. You can see when I bring that down a little bit, we're losing a little bit of that mask in our finger, and that's not necessarily what we want. Let's try our saturation instead. And right away, you can tell that we're getting that pillow redness to drop off. If I were to take our value parameter and bring that down, we can refine it even further. And that looks good right about there. Something else I can do in addition to this, since I'm seeing that we're still getting some of those details in the pillow included in our mask, is that I can isolate Beautybox's mask on her hands by creating a mask path on the bottom left side of the screen. So with show mask on, I can see what is being included. I can go and select my pen tool, make sure that my layer is selected. If I could just zoom out here from this composition, I can make a really quick mask just around my hands. Make sure that we're looking at the original image by selecting none and going up to path and selecting our mask 1. And this will apply Beauty Box only within the confines of the mask we just defined. I can go ahead and turn off show mask. Oops. So to recap, instead of automatically selecting your mask using the Analyze Frame button, which relies rather heavily on face detection, we can go to our mode, set, and add our color. And then from there, increase or decrease our hue, saturation, and value ranges to include all the flesh tones that we want while selecting as little of the background as possible. And in the case that our background is selected, we can use the pen tool to create a mask that we can then adhere to in our mask path. If you've run into some particularly wrinkly hands or skin damaged hands in your own footage, you can go to digitalanarchy.com, where we have free trials of Beauty Box as well as a lot of other really cool plugins. Again, I'm Tor Olson, software QA here at Digital Anarchy, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.